All right, hooray. Our mic's on. We did it. Okay, cool. Okay, we have to start with our public hearing. So I call to order the public hearing on the budget. I'm Caitlin Rothrock, Town Board President.
Councilman.
John Rourke, Councilman.
Adam Burkhart, Town Attorney.
Debbie Jones, Acting Treasurer.
All right. Debbie, I'm ready whenever you are. I feel like
Okay.
you're the lead on this.
Okay, I'll go over that. In the budget for 2026, the first is the riverboat. I've got a total of 116,000. I put in for office supplies 1,000, professional services 40,000, street repairs 40, other town maintenance 15, tree removal at 15, the promotional account at 2,000, and the community services at 3,000. Now this is the same exact budget since I've been here,
Okay.
and I pulled it from what Peggy had used before. So, and we never come close to spending that, but I'd rather have extra there if you need it, because we can move it to a spot if we needed to or something. So that's what our, presenting for the riverboat. The rainy day fund, we never use it. It just sits. It's maybe $100 in it or 118 or something like that. So I don't have anything there for that. The general budget is, is 22,950, which has 17,000 for wages. For your taxes for Social Security and Medicare, I've got 1,000 there. For office supplies, we put in 400. Nothing for janitorial or lawn care. Fire department, I put 5 in there. Mostly we take most of that from the riverboat. So it'll come out of one of the other, but we usually do have some there. I also have 300 for advertising. Treasurer's bond is 200. Utilities, 3,250. Postage is 100. Other operating is 200. Then over on your local roads and streets, I put 10,000 in for street repair and maintenance. For the motor vehicle and highway, I've got 10,000 for the electric for the street lights, and then I put 10,000 for road and miscellaneous maintenance. And so for 20,000 there. Your community, I can't say it properly. Cumulative.
Yeah.
I've got 600 in that one. For a total of 600. And for economic development, are you seated? I've got 1,000 in that. ARP funds are still there, but there's not anything that we can do with that any longer. So in fact, this year I have to figure out what they need us to do to get. There was some we wasn't able to use in time, so we have to give back, but I haven't gotten any information on where it gets sent. Okay. And then the special I'm telling you, I can't say this word, but capital development, there's $191 in that. I went ahead and put that in the budget this year because if I'm not mistaken, we can actually have that moved to the general fund. Okay. So I'm going to confirm that, and then maybe this year, rather than leaving it sitting here in this special fund, we can get it moved over to the general, which would be more useful than just sitting there. But all that's in it's $191. So the total budget for this year is $170,741. Okay.
Well, that's okay.
So you can, I apologize, I would pass them out, and I'm like, I'm short one.
Well, I'm not voting on it.
I know, but I always try to make sure you have what we got.
Debbie, just to recap a few things.
Okay,
This isn't the commitment to spend, it's an authorization to spend up to these
up to
amounts.
those amounts,
And it's
yes.
generally, you do it once a year and you don't
Uh-huh.
get to redo it, so you err on the side of spending
Yes.
more and try to spend less.
And spend, yes, try to spend less than but I always try. You have to go through a lot of steps, and it's not that it's a hard process, but if you needed more funds than what is actually budgeted, you have to go through certain steps and get it approved by the state. I've always tried to make sure there was plenty there for us to use, that we could maybe move from one place to another if we knew in advance of that. So, and then if we don't spend it all, that just makes it better for us the next time around. So, for sure.
And then just on one,
Mhm.
when we're annually reviewing budget and finance and stuff, on the issue of grants, federal grants in particular that come through the state, at some point in the state, I mentioned this partly for you, John, because I think you're the only person who it was a few years back, the state was harping on the town to do the whole ADA compliance town infrastructure thing with ADA compliant sidewalks and all this other stuff. Anyhow, it looks to me like a monumental undertaking. So the town has not done it yet, but eventually to be in compliance with federal grant requirements, the town may one day have to do it. So it just something to keep in mind.
if you do a new sidewalk, say, you do have to make it. So if you have to do repairs and have them put in a new sidewalk, you do have to make them ADA when you put in the new.
Okay.
So if you haven't taken it, like if you don't do all of the sidewalks, any part that you would do, that is definitely a requirement.
And
Okay.
there's there's a part that's not just doing it, but coming up with a plan.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you have to execute the plan now, but there has to be a plan in place, or otherwise at some point in time, the town will find itself where it would be able to be the recipient of a federally funded grant, even administered through the state, then not able to get it because they say, oh, you don't have the plan.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
Does that apply to just existing things, or is that something that we have to implement new sidewalks everywhere all around town? What is the?
So I think it's just a plan for the town that would, I think it's something that like an engineering firm could come up with, basically, that would say, here's improvements that we would make to the town to make it ADA compliant. And it doesn't mean, my understanding is it doesn't mean that you have to actually then go do that stuff, but kind of just like when the town did a comprehensive plan to say, this is our future vision for the town, and were we to do some new things, this is what we would do. I think it's more like that.
Yeah, I think you're
But it's not like, I don't think he's saying that we have to have sidewalks.
Right.
If we were to put a sidewalk in, it has to be compliant.
Sure.
And just that the plan itself would be expensive. That's when I said a great expense and really involved, I didn't even mean building it all out. I just meant having someone actually do that plan.
Oh, okay. That's good to know.
And so that's like a long-term thing. We touched on it a couple of years ago. I think maybe it was during we were dealing with the matching roads.
That might have been.
That might have been.
I was like, I don't think I was here.
Okay, it might have been even just before.
I had to take a whole class on ADA compliance because I don't do
Sure.
So yeah.
Is that something that we want to put a section in the budget for, and maybe ask for a little bit more than, or do we not?
Well, it would probably go under those roads that she has in here already.
I don't think it would be premature at all to start down that path. I think it would make every bit of
I
sense.
think that, like you said, I think we probably should start working on the plan.
Okay.
Whether or not anything gets done is still more the plan.
Okay.
And,
So do we need to write something in for that? Do we have even an idea of, is it
I have no
10,000,
idea.
5,000? Okay. Wow.
We could just, if you're thinking just the plan, we could just think about like getting quotes like this year and then the next. Is that too long to wait?
Probably not.
Okay. I don't know, but like timeline.
yeah.
Okay.
It's been hanging out there for at least 5 years or so.
Okay.
And probably even longer. So I doubt that one more makes a difference, especially if there's not any grants that you intend to apply for on the horizon. But yeah, I think getting the ducks in a row about it, John, makes every bit of sense.
Sure.
And there's municipal engineering firms, the town's probably worked with some. There will be other towns around here that can make recommendations.
I can give you several names of different ones. They're not coming off the top of my head. The only one that jumps out at me is Strand right off the bat, but different ones that we've used, or if I don't know the name, I might know the person that works there, so I can kind of help out with getting y'all some names if you like.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Speaking of our comprehensive plan, does anything happen with that? Like, do they check in? Like the plan that we did do, the comprehensive plan?
So I think the county just like bakes it into the county plan and says that the county incorporates the.
I think there's copies of it in the office if you don't have one.
Oh, no, I have one. I just
Okay.
didn't know if they like checked on us. Like, have you done any of the things on the comprehensive
no,
plan?
no.
You know? That's all I'm wondering.
Okay.
Okay. Do we feel, John was saying, to move things, do we feel like we need money for the plan, or should we just make the plan and then put it in the next budget?
I would work on the plan first because
Okay.
that would kind of maybe give us some ideas of what would maybe be needed.
Okay.
And then I could take, we could probably, and maybe even think about where the funds were going to be coming from. I would say that your local roads and streets would probably be able to help if it was a sidewalk project.
Okay.
So as I don't know what the project is, I don't really know where to go for the funding that you want. And
For sure.
and like I said, there is, and I put money in those for it, and we don't usually use it. But I think since I've been here, they did repave the roads, in 20 years, one time in 20 years, one time in 15 years, or
Yeah.
something like that. I mean, it was a long time in the process between the times that they did it. So, and they've done it once since
Okay.
I've been here. And with all the process of doing everything, I think we were able to put money into it without even having to go in and ask for more money. I know it's our money, but we still have to go to the state and ask them if it's okay to use it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Is there anything else that we should go over?
Are you all good with that? But
Well, so
this
then-
would not be.
I was just gonna ask, so then Adam, is that for you to reach out, or who's the one in charge of reaching out to a company to get some kind of quote for that?
So I just made a note because I've done some work with some other municipalities and I know that there's been engineers involved. So I'm going to also look for some referrals and then we might be able to, I could bring that to you to the next meeting and then you all might have some names and numbers to call. And I'd be happy
Okay.
to reach out for you or if you and Caitlin wanted to. Either way would be okay.
Okay. Yeah, if you know that, for sure.
And I think we'll learn a lot more once we get somebody to tell the town what, because I've not been involved in the creation of one of those plans, but engineering firms will probably have done a bunch of them.
For sure.
And there's not a whole lot of those engineering firms. There's a handful that are popular in the state that a lot of towns use.
Okay.
Another thought on that is River Hills.
Oh, yeah.
They do of course, you know what they do, don't you?
Yeah.
They would be another one that could help in the process of what steps we would have to take if we were going for the grant and things like that. So River Hills would be your grant people.
Nice. Okay. I'm glad you said that though, because I mean, I do go to those things, but that did not pop into my head.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it just popped into mind of thinking about Chelsea.
Oh, yeah.
Can we get I need a motion that you're okay with this. This is just the first. It does take 2 meetings to actually adopt. So if we're good with that, if we can have that motion on the budget, that would be great.
Yeah.
And then the next meeting, I'll have the ordinance and everything.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll motion to approve the budget.
Second.
Good deal. And then I will motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All right. Good deal. Okay. So now I will call to order the Town of Crandall Board, the regular board meeting. If everyone's had time to review the agenda, I motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
A I'm gonna look at the minutes for just a second, because I didn't quite finish them.
Oh.
And it's already done.